Hi, Rich Hoffman here. I have to say, I'm very proud of Kristie Noem. It's not that I didn't say that I was good. I thought she'd be a great secretary of Homeland Security, in charge of border security in that way. I'm happy to see that she's doing the job the way that I thought she would and should do it. And the controversy, though, of her going down to El Salvador, staying in front of that high security prison, where the Trump administration exported a bunch of lunatic terrorists, highly likely connected to the government of Venezuela, and they've been poisoning our streets with drugs and violence, and been really up to no good. And nobody's had the guts to go round them up and deport them and put them in a maximum security jail, and like they have in El Salvador. And Kristie Noem, of course, has those guts, and she did it. Trump administration certainly sponsored it, and to put a period at the end of the sentence, Kristie Noem went to the El Salvador prison, stood in front of the bars with all of them locked up behind it, shirtless and in complete submission, a bunch of tattooed lunatics, looking like the kind of street gang thugs that you don't want to have in your world. And there they were for everybody to see. And the media had a meltdown because she was so arrogant about it. Even Megyn Kelly had a bit of a problem with the way Kristie Noem presented herself. Because, and I said, one of the reasons I wanted Kristie Noem to be either, she was a presidential candidate, I would have voted for her president in a heartbeat. I went to South Dakota to have a visit while she was governor, and she ran a great state. She was really good in all fronts. And I had no doubt that she was going to be good in any role that she was going to be in with the Trump administration. But specifically, during all the crazy Biden years, there was a period of time where she was trying to pump everybody up as governor of the state. And she rode her horse, I think it was at the Sturgis motorcycle rally. She rode her horse through town, and she rode it up onto the stage right there in the middle at the courthouse at Deadwood. And she rode the horse up on stage with the American flag in her hand, and she was quite, she knows how to put on a presentation. She's been to rodeos, and she's carried the flag with a prancer around on her horse. You know, she's a pretty woman. She's got nice long hair, looks very feminine. She embraces her femininity, and I think it melts a lot of faces of people who are anti-female, anti-pretty, and definitely have a discriminatory practice towards pretty women. You know, pretty women are women too. They don't deserve to be ridiculed just because they're pretty. And I think Kristie Noem has found a way to embrace that criticism in a way that melts the faces of radicals who are trying to make all women in the world look like potatoes that have been left out in the cellar for 2 or 3 weeks too long. So she's hearing Megyn Kelly talk about this was, I think, over the top. Wouldn't quite expected out of her. It became more of a female thing. But Kristie Noem went down to kind of put the period in a sense and say, look, if you come to the country, America, and you're illegal and you're causing crimes and dysfunction, you're going to come here. And there's all the bad guys behind me. And, you know, these people were in prison, and here's a pretty woman standing in front of them. She purposely dressed in nice tight jeans, had a nice tight shirt on, showed her female attributes in I think a nice way. And she certainly didn't shy away from it. And she had on a $50,000 Rolex watch. And everybody was melting down about that. And you know, her hair was down and curled, and you know, she looked. I think she looked very pretty, very confident. And if you really want woman power out there, she was the exhibition of what women should aspire to be: strong, female, by herself, embracing her femininity, but being strong. She had on a ball cap, and she was there to work, and wearing her jeans, looking like she does when she goes to the rodeos. And here she was in El Salvador saying, if you come to bring crime to America, this is what's going to happen to you. And I'm going to make sure it happens. Love it. It's great. But the story became that she had on a $50,000 Rolex watch, so she's out of touch. Like she's supposed to show up and be like some kind of little migrant. person that's barely making it in life. You know, she's written best-selling books. She's been governor of a state. She's working for the Trump administration. And what else are you going to spend your money on? I mean, if you want to get a nice watch, go get a nice watch. What's wrong with a Rolex? What's wrong with a $50,000 Rolex? Nothing. If you're successful in life, it's good to show it. And especially in this case, and I'm sure she wore it on purpose, because you want to show that you know what you're doing and that you've been successful in life and that people can aspire to be like you. And there's nothing wrong with going up there. If you're a pretty woman, show. Be proud of it. Be proud of who you are, whether you're pretty or not very pretty, or whatever the condition is. It's okay. It should be. You should embrace what it is that you do that's good in life, so people are inspired to follow you, especially if you're in a leadership position. And there's nothing wrong with wearing a $50,000 Rolex to show that, hey, I've done some good things in life. And when you write a bestseller and it sells well, and you treat yourself to something nice as a proceed, something you can pass down, like she said, she wants to pass it down through her family because it's a gift to herself for having a best-selling book. Nothing wrong with that at all. You should always feel like, hey, I got a nice big heavy watch. It's a Rolex. I wrote a nice book about my experiences in life, and I treated myself to something. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's pretty cool that she went down and had the gut to stand in front of those prisoners, knowing that the eyes of death are penetrating your back, and you're surrounded by all these other security people, and you know that's going to be a highly scrutinized speech, and you go up there and stick it the way she did is great confidence. And it's kind of what I was hoping she would do on everything. She hasn't disappointed me. I remember back in the day, I said she should be the vice president with the Trump administration, but she can do anything she wants, and she's really good. And I knew it when she did the thing in Deadwood, South Dakota, when they had a rally there, and she rode the horse up on stage in front of everybody to kind of to stick that one with the American flag flying proudly in her hands. And she was just she knows how to put on the right show, but she also knows how to do the substance. So I wasn't surprised that she went to El Salvador to say, I round these punks up, and here they are, and there's more to come, and we're going to use this prison to maximum effect if you're a bad person. So beware, be warned. It's going to happen to you if you do bad things. That's the kind of message we want to send. And those who have been trying to undermine our country from the outset and undermine perfection, the pursuit of perfection, the pursuit of achievement, they don't want pretty women to show themselves off. They want everybody to kind of look butt ugly and broken and dependent on the government. And here's an independent woman who's had tragedies in her life, Kristie Noem has, and she's overcome them, and she's done great things with her life, even with opposition thrown at her in detrimental ways. And she deserves to have a Rolex. And if you get through life and you look as good as she does, be proud of it. Show it off, and certainly rub it in the faces of all those criminals that have nothing else no opportunities to enjoy female company. There's a very torturous presentation to have to stand behind her while she gives a speech about how she put them in jail, and they got to look at her and know they're not going to have any opportunities like that in their near future. That's a pretty cool thing to do. I think it was very smart of her, and it's the kind of attitude we should have. That the people who are cheerleading against it, and including Megyn Kelly's obvious jealousy, not a good look. Women, if they're jealous of each other, should never let it out, especially on camera, and be threatened by the presentation of breast size, or tight jeans, or curly hair, a nice looking appearance, when really most of the things that Kristie Noem did were psychologically very viable, necessary, and the right way to represent what America's attitude towards insurgents in the world should be. And those who are most upset about it, not necessarily Megyn Kelly, but certainly those people on The View and those people on MSNBC, you expect them to be upset about it, and it's good to see them upset about it, because that's it goes against what they've been trying to do, which is undermine goodness in America, the swagger and confidence that we should have, and they want us to be overrun by a lot of those criminal elements so that they can topple, using Cloward Piven, topple our society towards a collapse, using these criminal elements as their military, as their way to drive progressive agendas and big government to respond to criminal insurgency. And so their hope was that these criminals would make us run to government and more government programs, instead of getting smaller and getting better at what we do, and rounding these criminals up, taking away from being a menace to our streets. And Kristie Noem was taking that away from them, and she was very overt in her presentation of her confidence, and that just galled them to no end. And that's exactly what we need to be doing, and I can't wait to see a lot more of it happen. But to me, it was Kristie Noem riding her horse up on the stage in Deadwood. She did the same thing now in El Salvador, showed up looking like $1 million, like Miss America, and all the great things that we think about as far as what America produces. She's a product of America. She probably wouldn't be who she is in any other country, and America produces people like her, and she showed it off, including her $50,000 Rolex, which she clearly deserved to wear. Even if she's wearing it to go bale hay out in the field, when you work hard like she has and you've been successful like she has, you deserve to feel good about it and wear nice things like a $50,000 Rolex, even if you're just going down to get a milkshake at the town square. You don't have to just wear it to a wedding. You can wear it anywhere, and because you're not wearing it so much for the other people. You're wearing it because you want to feel good about what you've done in life, and that watch for her represents that kind of success. And I don't blame her one bit. I think it's cool. I think it's a good thing. God bless Kristie Noem. I'm happy to have her as Secretary of Homeland Security, and I'm looking very forward to much more of that kind of activity. And she represented me well, and I'm very proud of her. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you ever read my book, Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. And if you have a $50,000 Rolex, or you want to get one, wear it, be proud of the success you've had in life, and don't let all the doomsday communists out there make you feel bad for the success they have in life, because you've worked hard, much harder than they have, and that you're a better person than they are, because they can never become what you have been. So wear that Rolex proudly and be happy. Have a good day. See you later.